Y'all, this is a debate. This was like an episode of Maury. If you don't know who to vote for, then it's okay, because I don't either. Trump kept trying to get Kamala to talk about the economy and the border, and Kamala just kept bringing up Trump's felonies. In my opinion, it was given a whole 3 versus 1 situation, because everybody seemed to be against Trump. They were literally like, Kamala, so the border has sucked under your administration, but Trump, you're a convicted thug.
At this point, Trump need to be a comedian. He said, we have a president who doesn't even know he's alive. Oh, the man said, she should be wearing a Megan hat. I should get you a Megan hat. Like, when Kamala said, go to a Trump rally, and I promise you, you will see people bored and they start leaving at the end. He said, that's because she pays them to leave. They said, well, how did you feel comfortable about talking about her race? He said, well, I read something where she said she was not black. Then I read something where it said she was black. But I don't care. She can be whatever she wants. I don't care.
If any of y'all have been in a gaslighting and narcissistic situation with somebody, that is exactly how this debate went. And it is so disheartening to say that, but the whole debate, there was no, these are the policies that I'm going to do, and these are the policies that I'm going to do.
The one thing that Donald Trump said tonight that made me change my vote and why I'm now voting for him. In case you missed it, tonight was the presidential candidate debate. It was between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. There were many questions asked, many topics brought up, but Donald Trump was asked about immigration. His response was something that I completely resonated with and agreed with. He brought up the crisis of immigrants eating cats and dogs. I don't know about you, but I don't want my cat or dog eaten. I don't. Even though I don't have a cat or a dog, if I did, I wouldn't want it eaten. A lot of my family members have cats and dogs. I'm sure you have a cat or a dog, maybe 2 or 3. I'm sure you don't want it eaten or them eaten.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Hope. We back with another video. You already know from the title, we're about to get into how this younger generation is reacting to that crazy election last night. If you have any comments, please definitely leave them down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into the video.
That was not a debate. That was a 3-on-1 handicap match. And thankfully, most Americans would agree. One thing I will take from yesterday's debate is this. Despite the very, very clear rigging of that debate, Trump still stood his ground. And another thing that I'm glad most people are pointing out is the fact that they were being so soft on Kamala Harris. I mean, they did everything they could possibly do to make her look like a saint and make Trump look like a villain. And they failed miserably. They let Kamala respond to whatever Trump was saying, with ease. And Trump had to fight his way to respond to Kamala Harris every single time. And I just absolutely love how, even on the first question that she was asked, the very first question, is America better off now versus when Trump was in office? We never got an answer to that question. She just goes on rambling. Oh, I was born in a middle-class household and my mom da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No one gives a fuck about your upbringing. All she had to do was answer the question directly, but no. Whoever was coaching her before this debate coached her very well, because every single answer that she had to any one of those questions sounded like she memorized it from a damn script. And every time Trump spoke, did y'all notice her facial expressions? And every time Trump called her out on the line, what did she do? She smiled and cackled. Yeah. Now, if those two decide to debate again, it really should not be on ABC, NBC, maybe not even CNN. They need to do that on Newsmax, maybe Fox News or News Nation, a more fair and balanced platform. That was clear as day. They were doing everything in their power to make Kamala Harris look good. And man, she messed up big time when she said that she agreed with Joe Biden on the way he pulled out of Afghanistan.
The power of mass media manipulation is so powerful to the point I really believe that it has altered the minds of the American people. All right. When President Biden ran against Kamala Harris the last time, she literally did so bad as though she had to step down as well as step out of the election, all right? She has been the vice president for 3.5 years. And from then until now, the question to the American people would be, what has she done for you lately? All right? Honestly, what has Kamala Harris did from then to now to the point where people feel as though she's an eligible candidate to even run for the president of the United States, all right? Keep in mind, she never won a primary. She was literally given to the American people. She was literally handed over to the American people on a silver platter, might I add, all right? There were more eligible candidates, but for whatever reason, we got her, and no one ever questioned it, which is crazy to me. Looking at the presidential debate tonight between her and President Trump, I literally feel as though she is part of a systematic machine that will do anything in their power to make sure Donald Trump do not get in office come November of 2024. With that being said, to my MAGA family, get out and vote, 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 vote. If it's too big, it cannot be rigged, y'all. And from the looks of this debate tonight, we may have some problems.
Tonight's debate was an absolute joke. It was 3v1. I've actually never seen a presidential debate be 3v1. The two ABC moderators and Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. I didn't see the moderators fact check Kamala Harris once. She lied multiple times. They were working hard to fact check Trump. They asked her maybe one time about her changing her positions. She directly lied to our faces. She said, I'm gonna answer all these, and she talked about fracking a little bit, then she started rambling about Trump. ABC did not push her on really anything, but they were pushing Donald Trump on multiple things. In addition to pushing Donald Trump multiple things, they were tossing her up questions so she could dunk on Donald Trump. It was a completely crystal clear, utterly clear display of bias. And people are saying, oh, Kamala won the debate, Kamala won the debate. They framed the debate around something that would make her look good. Notice they didn't fact check her. They did not press her on the fact that she's been changing her issues. They didn't press her on the fact that she's been avoiding the press. That's been a major deal. They didn't ask her one time about why she's been avoiding the press. They rigged it in favor of Kamala Harris. And now they're gonna act like she won the debate because they rigged it in her favor. Trump can't control the questions that were being asked. They controlled the questions. And the way they formatted these questions and the questions they asked clearly favored Kamala Harris. And again, they were not fact-checking her. They were attempting to fact-check Trump. They cut Trump off more than they cut her off. And they didn't push her on any issues. They literally set her up to ramble about Trump. And that's all she wanted to do. 28% of voters think they need to know more about her. She really didn't give us much more about her. She was busy rambling about Trump. And that's exactly what she wanted. We had an hour-and-a-half debate tonight, and we really don't know anything new about Kamala Harris. And that is what millions of people want to know. But she's hiding it from them. Ask yourself why.
Moderators, they were not the best. I think that we need to change the entire system because one side is going to show bias, the other side is going to show bias. Let's just get it to the American people and ask them questions. Me personally, that's what I think. But I do like this video. Let's go ahead and get into the comments of this clip. Let's see what they're talking about. Top comment. Also, if you notice, she had someone feeding her the answers through the Nova H1 audio earring she was wearing. Look them up. Whoa. I did actually see a couple pictures of the people talking about that. I think I'm going to go ahead and link this up here for you guys right now through those headphones that they were talking about. So I don't know. That's crazy. If that's true, wild, man. All right, next comment here, we have them not fact-checking Project 2025 within the first 3 minutes was crazy. Again, Trump did say he doesn't identify with none of that. So, I mean, yeah. And then we have the last comment here. ABC set him up for failure. He had no chance, man. Yeah, I do feel like there was a huge bias.
As a non-American watching the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, I just have to say, and I say this with absolutely no cruelty in my heart or malice, but genuine concern. Are you guys okay? Like, I remember being taught as a child that the United States and its civic system was one of the most impressive ever. It was the bastion of what we would call modern democracy in terms of the way that it was conducted, the rigor of its debates, all of that. What I saw in this debate was the kind of lunacy you would see in like a tribal culture that had not, progressed to modern times. It was just why. And so the big question is, well, who won the debate? I don't know, man, but I can tell you who lost: the world, as we watched this unfold. As a non-American watching this debate, my only comment, and it is said with absolute sincerity, with no malice or humor, is, are you guys doing okay? Like, growing up, I remember being taught that American democracy was one of the most rigorous, well-defended, well-articulated civic system there is out there. And I must say, having watched this debate and seeing a lot of the public discourse, I don't know if you can still adequately make that claim. Now, I've traveled to the US. I love the US. I visit regularly. I'll be there again in a couple of months, but I don't live there. And I think that as sort of a passer through, you don't get the full flavor of all of the stuff that's been happening. And it is just quite apparent to me as an outsider that the left and the right of your government are so vastly at odds with one another that it's like a team sport. There is no compromise in the middle. It doesn't seem possible, and the debate absolutely made that clear to me.
Now, I did want to go ahead and add on to this last clip because I think it is important to see how the world is looking at us. And with this question, are we okay? Is the U.S. okay? What are your guys' thoughts? Please leave that down below. Are we all right over here, or is this all kind of chaotic? Let me know.
Let me tell you my thoughts about the debate. If you're thinking to yourself, oh gosh, Anna, please don't, I'm feeling the same way. Like, I don't even want to talk about the debate. It was so embarrassing. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like, this is the best we can do. So it's funny because Republicans are saying, oh, Trump definitely won because it was really 1 against 3 because the moderators were teaming up against him, which honestly, I don't disagree with that fact, but he knew that that was going to happen walking into a left-leaning news debate. So we saw that Tulsi Gabbard was brought in to help Trump prepare for the debate, but I'm wondering if that ever really happened, or is Trump just unteachable? And if you don't keep up on everything, Kamala Harris was locked in a hotel room for like a week with Trump impersonators to prepare for this debate. Very obvious that she had a script memorized, and towards the end, there was a few questions that she couldn't think of her script, so she kind of had to sit there and pause for a little bit, and so that was pretty obvious. But regardless, if you do not pay attention to politics, and this is the first thing you watched, really getting to know the two candidates and their policies and what they're gonna do the next 4 years, I would definitely think that Kamala Harris won the debate. But the moderators didn't really fact check her at all, and Trump really did not do a good job at clapping back at her. I mean, he talked about her failure of the border, but there is so much more juice that he could have brought up. A perfect example of this is when Kamala Harris looked at Trump and said, he's gonna end the Constitution as we know it. He could have easily brought up the fact that the Biden administration has actually been censoring her speech, breaking the very First Amendment. They started talking about healthcare, and why did he not bring up the chronic disease? That was supposed to be the big moment for the MAHA movement. Talking about the rising cost of healthcare. Well, that was his perfect opportunity to say, okay, well, it's actually sick care. It's not really healthcare. And why is our country so sick in the first place? And I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
All right, nobody asked, but here's my thoughts on the Trump versus Kamala debate that just happened. So Trump clearly lost that debate, and to me, there's no way around that. No, by no means did the bottom fall out for him, right? Texas and Florida are not in play for Kamala Harris now after that performance. But I thought he came off as unprepared. I thought he let her take control of the messaging. Like, he was more defending his positions that she would bring up, more than he was like setting the pace. I think he missed some really obvious things he should have brought up. Now, clearly the moderators were fact checking him constantly and did not fact check her once. They didn't really even push her once. So Trump was kind of debating all 3 of them, but he didn't do a great job. I'm surprised how well Kamala Harris did. And I mean, they know they did well because apparently she immediately came out saying that she is pushing for a second debate, which they should do, and Trump should do that, and he should prepare for the next one. Now, ultimately, I think it's interesting because while Kamala clearly came out as like the victor and like she kind of like performed way better than expectations from a lot of people, and she just seemed to like kind of control the conversation more, it is interesting to me because like she still didn't really answer where she stands on like a lot of issues. Like, if you're watching this and you're holding out on voting for her because you don't know where she stands, I don't think you have a better idea of where she stands now. Like, what does opportunity economy mean? Even whenever she kind of got into like trying to explain her position, she either pivot, which she didn't get called out for really, or her answers didn't make sense. Like her answer on Israel, she said that Israel has a right to defend themselves, but we need an immediate ceasefire. Well, that doesn't make sense, right? So I wonder, like, again, I don't think the bottom's gonna fall out from Trump after this. I don't think he's going to get a massive dip in the polls. If you were looking at poly market odds during the whole debate, there were points when they would go like way up for Kamala, but then Trump recovered a couple times and like went back in the betting odds sometimes. So, and it's weird, like when I was just looking for like a little bit of post debate before I made this video, CNN, somebody on there was saying that it was a draw, which is like, what? I don't think it was a draw, but like there were enough things that like she didn't really answer. I don't know, both her and Trump are going to come out of this with their own little like clips that they can push to their audience and make themselves look good. Kamala probably got more of those clips though. The last two things I'm thinking, first of all, where the hell, I wonder what progressives are thinking after this. I mean, to have a Democrat, especially the Democrat being Kamala Harris in when she ran super far to the left in 2020, you know, touting that she's a gun owner, saying she's proud of her endorsements from Republicans like Dick Cheney. They called him a war criminal for like 40 years, Democrats did. And like praising John McCain. I wonder how like really far left or like progressives feel about that. I understand running to the middle and trying to get independence, but like far left progressives don't want to run to the middle, and they don't want that. Even her answer on Israel, like that would not be satisfactory to a lot of them. So I wonder if this turned them off from her. When I talk to my Dem operative friends, they tell me that progressives don't matter. They mattered a lot 4 years ago, so I'm just kind of wondering what's going to go on with that. The other thing is when we talk about Trump's performance, this is going to be my hottest take, but some of those lines that he got in there, those little jabs, it was kind of old Trump a little bit, which his base likes. That answer when he was like in Springfield, they're eating the cats and dogs, like that makes a lot of liberals go like full blown on like, oh my God, he's crazy. But like all of my friends laugh at that. Even the ones who won't vote for him are like, oh my God, he's hilarious. Or when he told the story about the Taliban, he said, oh no, Abdul, don't do that, Abdul. Like, it's funny. He had a couple of those. And like, that's one of those things with like the popular culture that I don't think that hurts Trump actually.
All right, now I really do like this last clip because I feel like she gave a pretty fair analysis on both politicians. Pretty hard to give a fair, unbiased analysis, so I'll give her that. Upcoming here we have, this is a really good analysis because I can't tell what side you're on. It's very difficult to respectfully analyze politics without showing bias. Yeah, no, that's just really true. That was part of my commentary too, so I'm glad to see people do agree.
This business about taking everyone's guns away, Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away, so stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
Oh, really, Kamala? Isn't this you silly little goose?
Checks and an assault weapons ban.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
I support buybacks, and I think that, look, we have 5 million assault weapons on the streets of America, and we have 5 million assault weapons on the streets of America.
My biggest takeaways from that debate is the number one thing. How we go eat? How are we going to eat? Let's talk about it, because if I was, y'all should have had me, okay, listen, if I was a moderator, okay, and I know I'm a little elevated right now, my blood pressure's up because we didn't talk about how we go eat, how we gonna pay these mortgages, how we gonna pay these bills. That's what we didn't talk about last night at the great debate. Because while I wasn't moderating, my question is, the American people is hungry. Everything has been recalled. Can we talk about the recalls that is happening right now currently in America? Shoot. Because we can't even eat our struggle food. Y'all done recalled the struggle food. Our noodles can't even eat them. Well, it's just the spicy ones, I believe, y'all. I just wouldn't touch no noodles regardless, okay? Spicy, oriental, whatever. Don't eat the noodles, okay? I done shifted my bun. You got me in the uproar today. The biggest question that wasn't answered was, how would you stop the war? How would you solve the war? Nobody answered that. We still waiting on this question and the answer. Q&A. There was no Q&A. That's all we heard was, well, she said this. She don't like me. He don't like me. What is happening? It really got me with, listen, let me tell y'all something. The trumpet, he has been on the internet, okay? I'm going to tell y'all why. How he come up with the people in Ohio pets being, he said the pets was being eaten, folks' pets being, he's been on the internet, okay? That's where he got that right from TikTok, okay? He got up there and said, I'm finna say everything these folks folks want to hear because this is what they've been talking about on the internet, okay? There was so much deflection that was happening when there were serious questions. The moderators had me screaming because they was like, okay, because you didn't even answer what I asked you, okay? So the immigration issue was not really resolved. I didn't hear anyone resolve that with anything that was said. How are we going to stop the war? How is Americans gonna continue to pay for groceries? Because I just went to the grocery store and spent $150. That was for 2 meals for 2 days. Somebody tell me, I used to spend that $200 every 2 weeks. Are you catching it? Respectfully, there was a lot of points on to both candidates. Both of them raised very, very good arguments, but there was no resolving. Nobody's saying anything about resolving on how we're going to eat, these food recalls, of how we're going to pay this economy. Nobody talked about that.
I really like this clip because she's really getting into how the economy is going. And that's what people care about the most. Like, let's be honest. That's what I'm covering here on this channel. We can see how the grocery bills and how rentals, how everything is just super expensive. So we want to know what's going on. Cut out the games. I don't care about y'all attacking each other. What's the plan to make everything affordable so we can be able to survive again? This cost of living is insane. Now, there is some other good points here about Cam talking about she's a gun owner. She doesn't want to ban guns. That's interesting takes. The very top comment here, we have food high, gas high, rent, mortgage high. It's all a mess out here. Yeah, it's pretty crazy out here. Then the next comment we have, this was a whole waste of time, energy and error time. Just a whole mess. We're not feeling that at all.
Here are my thoughts after watching the presidential debate. First of all, ABC was very biased. It did not feel like it was Kamala against Trump. It felt like it was Kamala and the moderators against Trump. They cut him off way more than they cut her off. However, Kamala was a lot more composed than I thought she would be, and she was actually a really great speaker. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of things she said was pure lies, but she was really good at pulling people's emotions by their heartstring. I don't think Trump did a great job tonight. I think he should have come in, remained quiet, and I don't think he should have been the typical Trump that we know, especially since after the assassination attempt. It would have been nice to see a more softer side, although I did agree on everything that Trump said tonight. First thing is that Kamala kept saying that Trump is pro-2025, which he said, I am not pro-2025, I haven't even read it, and then she said it again, that he was pro-2025. She also admitted that she met with Zelensky and she gave him U.S. intelligence to use against Russia, which is something you are not supposed to do. For the sake of national security, you should never openly discuss the transfer of intelligence. And then we have Trump talking about abortion happening during the 9th month of pregnancy, and then they say they fact-checked him and he was wrong. But on X, you can see the former governor of West Virginia talking about abortion being done in the 9th month. I don't really think either of them won this debate, although I do think Kamala is a way better choice than Joe Biden. But I do agree with Trump's closing statement, saying if she wanted to do all that, then she would have done it the past 3.5 years. And I would love to see them debate again.
As an American citizen, you cannot ask me to follow the same policies that you just copy and pasted from Biden's administration. You cannot ask me to blindly follow that for another 4 years, especially the way the economy, the way that interest rates, the way that food costs, it's border security. You cannot ask me to blindly follow that again in hopes that things are going to change. You had 3.5 years. You did nothing with that 3.5 years besides go to a spice store and go to a sorority party. You cannot ask me to blindly follow you in hopes that this country will get better when it has only gotten worse with you in office. You cannot ask me to do that. You are asking me to put faith in you when we tried to the past 4 years and you did nothing but shit on America. You can't ask me to do that.
Now, this is some interesting thoughts that the younger generation is definitely feeling. Let me know your thoughts. Like, how was it that you are going about this? Do you believe that this was a 3v1? Who won? Was it Trump? Was it Cam? Let me know your thoughts. Go ahead and comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Please share the video. Let the people know how the young people are feeling. And I'm out. It's your boy Hope. Catch you on the next video.